Welcome back to the channel. So today I have the GTO in the shop. I've never had the GTO in the shop. I was working on everything outside, but now that the Grand Prix runs and drives, I pulled it out. I need to do some stuff on the lift anyway, since I need to drop the subframe with the engine in there to get the headers in. So somebody mentioned that the headers would fit if you pulled the steering rack, but this header, this style header goes around that steering shaft. So there's no way to get it around that because it's just so bulky just to get it in there. Even if I pulled that steering rack out and moved the shaft up, it still wouldn't fit. And I probably could make it fit, but I'd rather just drop this. I have some poly engine mounts now. I also have the starter, the AC compressor. I'll put all of that stuff on once the engine is dropped out with the whole subframe, because then I could just go over everything. I need to finish disconnecting the wiring harness because I did plug everything in. So I've already started that, but we'll get everything redisconnected, get her out, get everything back on, get it back in, and pretty much it'll be straightforward. All I have to do is get a few things here and there, and I should be able to hopefully start it up. The cam is pretty aggressive. It's a stage 4 Texas Speed cam, the biggest camshaft they make. So hopefully she'll start. And I think it's been sitting for a while, so I'll probably have to put 10 gallons of good gas in there, some good 91. Maybe I could put some 101 in there. I'm not exactly sure yet. With gas prices how they are right now, I probably should just buy 101. It's like 20 bucks a gallon. Getting pretty close. So we'll be getting her running and driving, but let's get this engine and subframe dropped out of here. Got the poly engine mounts in, as well as the driver's side header, and you can see that steering shaft, so how the header wraps around it. That's why it was impossible. You probably could get these headers in the car with the engine in there, but it would scratch the coating all up. So it's easier to just drop the engine out, or at least just lower the subframe just a hair. But one thing I'm really happy that I did was I pulled this back out and I pulled the tranny back off of it. So I put the starter on, and I instantly noticed after I cranked it, I'm not even sure why I cranked it with a starter, but oh, I remember why I was cranking it, because you have to shim the starter to make sure it's not gonna catch the flywheel. And I was just making sure that it was, you know, there's enough shims. So I started with no shims, and then I cranked it over and instantly noticed that the guy bent the flex plate. So it's not just a little bit bent, it's like half an inch out. So as you're cranking it, it looks like a bicycle wheel that you try to do a trick with, and it's just like, you know, you didn't land it right. So what I'm gonna have to do, you know, this is the issue with getting projects that are apart from other people, because you don't know how they took the project apart. The flex plate isn't cracked, so that's why I ended up bolting the torque converter to it. I was seeing if I bolted the torque converter to it, if it would re-true it, because there's 3 bolts. The torque converter is pretty solid, but it didn't help at all. It literally didn't help. So what I'm gonna have to do, if I can't find a flex plate in the yard, I'm going to have to order a flex plate, and it'll probably be a week out. So this is why I don't like getting projects from other people, or I don't mind getting projects that other people have started. I just don't like paying a lot for them. That's why, since the GTO is $3,000, I didn't mind paying the $3,000, because you always run into stuff. You know, I've already had to find a million bolts for this thing. Have everything back into the GTO. We have the headers on there, the poly mounts, the drive shaft shop drive shafts in there. Everything is bolted in. There is a few things that I still need to do. So I robbed the coils off of this engine for the Grand Prix, because I cut those coil harnesses on the Grand Prix engine up when I made that custom harness. So yeah, so now I have the GTO coils on the Grand Prix, and I have coils, I just don't have any harnesses. So what I need to do is either find coils or find harnesses. That shouldn't be that big of a deal. I replaced that really bent flex plate. So I found a flex plate. This one is horrible. I've already tested it. I tested it while I was still on this rolling cart. I'm really happy that I got this rolling cart. This guy was gonna throw it away. I was like, hey, can I have that? He's like, sure. So works really good for dropping engines out onto this, and then you can just roll it around. Works out very well. Also, I ordered an AC compressor belt, but I don't know if the ATI hub is a different size, because the belt is too small. So I'll figure that out tonight as well. I need to grab the injectors tonight. The E85 injectors are coming, and then we could hear this thing start up tomorrow. So I want to hear this start up in this video, because she's going to be sounding really good if she runs, because it's a huge cam. It might not start, and it has CNC heads. It might not start, but look at her. She's getting close. Let's go home, grab all that stuff that supposedly supposed to come today, get this thing running and driving, and pull her out of the shop and have one other car. I'll have two Pontiacs that run and drive, which is going to be awesome. Everything is now back together enough to fire her up for the very first time. So I'm pretty excited about this. I have the battery installed with everything over there hooked up. I need to get an aftermarket radiator. I'm missing the fans, so that's why I kind of wanted to upgrade the radiator anyway, but then I could get some aftermarket fans as well. I need some clamps for the new radiator hose, as well as a power steering reservoir, because it is missing the power steering reservoir. The belt for, like I said before, the belt for the AC compressor that I got was a little bit too short, so I also need to get a little bit longer belt there. Probably something to do with the ATI damper. I looked online, it seemed like a lot of people had issues because ATI shows the belt that I have, but everybody says that belt doesn't fit. You need like a 42-inch belt for that. So if you're doing an ATI damper on an 06 GTO, The one that ATI says is wrong, it needs to be 42 inches. But other than that, I need to connect a few things. I mean, I did the rear steam vents, so I need to connect that, but I'm gonna wait until I do the radiator. I got coils. I found some coil harnesses, or I used the old coils, found some coil harnesses. I had some MSD wires. We have some copper plugs in there. Need to do the exhaust. There are a few things here and there that I need to do, but she should fire up. Hopefully she'll fire up. Then I have the injectors disconnected. I want to build some oil pressure first, so I'll crank her up. Then I still don't have the injectors that were supposed to come last night from Amazon. They show that they're going to be here Monday now. So I'm going to wait to try to fire up on fuel. I also need an oxygen sensor. For some reason, the one that the guy got is a brand new one. It is too long. It hits the transmission. So I need to get a shorter one. Actually, I have one, a used one, but I just need to repin the plug and do the exhaust. So there's quite a few things that I still need to do. I also need a rear or a dipstick for the automatic transmission. I got one from like a truck, but it was a little bit too high. So I'll probably just get like an aftermarket one since the engine's in there now. It's probably impossible to get the factory one in there, so we'll worry about that. But let's crank her, build some oil pressure, and then spray some starting fluid in it. We got lights. Look at that. 93,000 miles. Showing the little security thing. Hopefully the key still works. I'm really hoping. Low fuel, that's good. It says low fuel. Oh, that would be awesome if it's low fuel, because that's gonna mean that there isn't a bunch of bad gas in here. Let's spray some starting fluid in her. And she fired right up. I am so happy. She sounds great. I mean, I cannot wait until this is tuned on the cam. Hopefully, hopefully I make like 450 or whatever these things make to the wheels with a stage 4 camshaft. I mean, it'll be awesome to have like a 450 horsepower, 400 horsepower GTO. It should make 450 at least, but we'll have the E85 injectors in there. Once I get it tuned, probably change it over to E85, because eventually I want to turbo this thing. Turbo or supercharged, probably. I like turbos a lot better than superchargers, but I can't wait. Do the exhaust up, get that oxygen sensor, and just finish up getting a lot of this just random stuff connected. Then we could take her for her first test drive. So I'm gonna end the video here. If you like these videos, make sure to click that subscribe button, throw a thumbs up, throw a comment below. As always, see you guys next time.